Today, we're going to learn about searches under the criminal litigation course. So, of course, you know that a search is conducted by the police in order to obtain evidence which may be used at trial of the suspect. So, we're going to be talking about search of persons today. Under the Police Act of 2020, you're going to discover that there's a number of new provisions in respect of searches which you did not have under the former Police Act. So first thing is that the police, you'd see in Section 49 of the Police Act, are empowered to stop and search a person where there is reasonable suspicion to do so. But this search must be done in a public place or in a place that is accessible to the public at the time of the search. And that means that the search cannot be conducted in a private place. Now, the Act also provides that the police officer who would make the search would provide the suspect with the following information. One, he must provide the suspect with his name and the police station to which he is attached, the objects of the search, and also the grounds for undertaking the search. Now, if you go to Section 54, you'll find that the Act disqualifies certain things as being possible grounds on which the search can be made. So first, it says personal attributes would not count as grounds, which means the hairstyle or the kind of dress the person is wearing or their age. Also, previous conviction for possession of an unlawful article would also not count as grounds. And then stereotyped images of certain persons or groups as being likely to commit offenses would also not suffice as grounds on which the search can be made. So another thing worth noting from the Act is that the police officer who is to perform the search is supposed to be dressed in his uniform. If he's not dressed in his uniform, then he must have a visible police identity card that he is wearing. Now, who searches the suspect? The general rule we have, of course, is that it's an officer of the same sex that would conduct the search. But you know that in situations of extreme urgency, where it's impracticable to have an officer of the same sex conduct the search, then may be conducted by an officer of the other sex. But in every instance, the search must be conducted decently. So whether you have a man search a man or a man search a woman or vice versa, it must be done decently. Now, it's also worth noting that if the suspect to be searched does not cooperate with the police, then the police may conduct what we call a forcible search, all right, which means the police may possibly apply more force in order to conduct a search of the suspect. Now, you would also find that the Acts provide for what we call intimate search. Now, intimate search is a physical examination of the suspect's orifices, so body openings other than the mouth. It's something that must be performed in the police station or in a hospital or some other similar facility. Now, it's a search that can only be authorized by a police officer of at least the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police, that's ASP. And you see that it's typically performed in circumstances where the police have reasonable grounds to suspect that, to believe rather, that the suspect has concealed something on himself with which he can cause injury to himself or others, all right? Or they're trying to obtain some evidence which ordinarily they cannot obtain from just a body search. Now, who's supposed to conduct this intimate search on the suspect? Now, the Act tells us that it's going to be conducted by a suitably qualified person. And by suitably qualified person, the Act means a registered medical practitioner or a nurse. But if you don't have any such person present to conduct the search, it may also be conducted by a police officer of the rank of sergeant who is of the same sex as the suspect. So those are new provisions from the Police Act. Of course, the Police Act has not been tested yet in any examination, but I think that all these salient provisions are things that you should pay attention to, and there are possible areas in which you'll be asked questions. So I hope you've enjoyed learning this, and goodbye for now.